because I don't have anything to talk about in that way. Like, I'm 48 years old, and
Okay.
not to say that age is a thing that dictates what you rap about, but in a way it does.
We're gonna watch the Andre 3000, the GQ interview that they just dropped. Not that far. It was like a week and some change. We didn't react to it. Still pretty recent, so not bad. We doing pretty good. So we gotta go. Obviously, shout out to GQ for the interview. Make sure to show love to them. Like, comment, subscribe. All right. Let's get into it. My man in a whole laundromat. That's fire. Just being in a laundromat, playing your flute. Alright, so in October 2023, Andre 3000 met up with GQ writer Zach Barron at a laundromat not too far from Andre's home in Los Angeles. Dope.
Like, I like seasoned food. Like, I hate bland food.
Okay.
So I season my clothes a lot.
In a past life, Andre 3000 was one half of Outkast, one of the greatest rap groups of all time. For sure. 100%.
One of my homies told me, like, after I finished Hey Ya and I played it for him, he said, man, if you put that out, man, your career is over.
Nah, that's wild. His man's is bugging.
That's like one of the coolest things about the recording. Like, I'm actually listening to myself be a baby at something, you know, be a baby at this new machine that I've never touched.
So in November 2023, Andre releases his first solo record, New Blue Sun.
This feels like 80s doctor's office,
I think it's cozier than that.
psychiatrist's office.
Psychiatrist's office. There we go.
That Sherpa chair is hard. I'm not gonna lie, I said it fire.
That's amazing, man.
Oh, thank you, man.
My man's in a whole laundromat
What's up,
for
man?
real for
What's
this.
up?
Bring it in, bring it in. I like the shirt.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very
Cool,
much.
cool.
Yeah, you know, stripes.
Yeah.
Just trying to be like you.
It's stripe
Just trying to
time.
be like you.
Get your stripes. Yeah.
We should make it clear that you actually use this laundromat.
Yeah. This is a laundromat not too far from my house.
How'd you end up out here?
I was making a move from New York, and it was really supposed to be like a.
I didn't know he was. I didn't know he was living out in New York. To be honest, I did see some videos of like him roaming around while he's like walking around with the flute and just vibing around, just walking in the hood and shit. Yeah, I didn't know that he was living down. Shit.
Reset. You know, come to California, get some sun. Hey.
What is that?
I got it from Ramses the Great Museum in San Fran. We went to this thing, and I bought this just as.
And now he's just the laundry guardian.
He hangs out like I sit him in the windowsill of my car. Like me and my son, kind of like, and I think Seven may have put like just a plain rubber ducky. And then when I saw this one, I was like,
That's beautiful.
We're gonna freak it like that's the Egyptian one. So
and
yeah,
it's like
I kind
your
of.
son a little bit with you too.
Yeah.
That's fire though. Look at that shit. What would y'all name if y'all had that ducky? What would y'all name that ducky?
I think people would be surprised to know that you go to a laundromat to do your laundry.
Yeah, but only for that kind of convenience thing, and it's fun for me because it gives me a chance to kind of to be out in the world, and like when I'm putting clothes in the dryer, I usually go out in the alley and practice. You know, I play my instrument out in the alley, and it's just something to do to get out in the sun a little bit.
What is important about being out in the world?
Meeting people. Like I met this old lady here. She was from Vienna. I had my bass clarinet at the time, and I was kind of playing. And she said,
"Yo, my man just really be outside with instruments, just playing. That's
your
fire.
music. The music that you're playing, it reminds me of my old country." We sparked up like a real cool friendship, and she was like, "If you come here next Saturday, I'll bring you all of my old record collection of classical music from Vienna." And she
That's
told me a
crazy.
time to meet her, but unfortunately, I was late. And so when I came, she wasn't around. So I hadn't seen her, so I'm hoping she's still alive, you know.
Do people clock that it's you when you're here?
Nah, she didn't know who I was.
That's what I'm
Kinda
saying. Like, she don't
some
even know
people may
how.
recognize
Yo,
it.
she
Like,
got
oh,
no
man, that's
idea.
cool,
She
but it's
over
not,
here
like, crazy.
talking to Andre
like,
3000.
I
Like,
kinda
that's
like
wild.
what my life is, where I can come and do this. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of my contemporaries, like I kind of feel bad for them, you know, because we got children and like sometimes like some of these people can't even go out without having paparazzi
That's a
following them.
fact.
And it's like, it's not, that's a whack ass life, man. Like,
That's
I kind of
facts.
like some normalcy, even though it's not normal, but I came from that. Like I used to hang out at, you know, the laundromat, like when we didn't have a wash and dry at our house. My mom worked at the beauty salon, so it's like I'm in these places, social kind of situation, you know?
Yeah, when you say normalcy, what do you mean by that?
Walk with your family and not have people follow you and
Right.
chase you, and
Facts.
you can't take your kid to the park and play because people will
Was your
follow
life
you.
ever like that?
At certain times, I think maybe at the height of Outkast, over years of like letting it simmer a little bit, and I'm older now, so a lot of people, they see me like, you look like him, but nah, that ain't 2000. So it's like,
It's funny because it's like when you're 19, you're probably working towards like anything but normal. You know, you're working towards like,
It's so funny.
let's be successful. Let's see where this can go.
Yeah, that's
And
facts.
then you spend the back end of it trying to work your way back to the.
it's life. You want what you want till you don't want it. Me and Big Boy used to literally pray every night, Lord, really, we just want to be good rappers. That was our prayer.
That's-
We call it
I
like
mean,
a rapper's
them-
prayer. Like, Lord, we really just want to be good rappers, and we
Them
did
prayers
that.
got
And it's kinda
answered
like, now
instantly.
we're seeing that it's happened. I love that it's happened. Like, I don't regret any of that, but it's kind of like now that I'm at a certain level, I miss certain things about normalcy, and like I'm an only child, so I've always kind of been to myself anyway.
I've never
Kinda
known
like
that he's an only
my
child. That's crazy.
solitary kind of chill life, and I think you do have a choice.
But you could still live the other way if you wanted to. Are you ever like tempted to like?
That's the problem, the balance. Like, I do have an urge because I want to create things. Like, I'm happiest when I'm creating things. And I was talking to my manager and publicist. I had to really ask myself, do you want to possibly be famous again? Like, do you want to turn it up again? And I was like, well, I'll just put the record out and just don't do any press for it or anything like that. But then it's kind of a disservice to the music because I want people to like check it out. I want people to hear it.
I think that's a beautiful thing. I love the fact that he just dropped it. I mean, people knew about when it was dropping. I want to say maybe a couple days before it dropped, or maybe like a week for when I got put onto it. But I like that. I like the fact that he just, no promotion, no saying that he was coming back out. Because I feel like if he did that, it's like he said, he would have got too much exposure. And then, it, you know, the fact that the album gets to flow. It personally, if you haven't heard the album, I personally love it. I like the fact that it's strictly instrumental. It's a lot deeper in terms of just, you know, if you're listening to a rap album, a hip hop album, it's more of, I don't know, you can have like your own interpretation towards it, which I fuck with. That's dope. So I like the fact that he just dropped it because people who really love it will share it to those who they feel like would appreciate the album as well, or maybe not, but it'll still get the word around and it'll happen authentically, you know, and genuinely, I feel like.
I had to find some balance.
We've been a little coy. You have a whole flute album now.
I wouldn't call it a flute album. It's an album, but I am playing wind instruments. Sometimes it's native flutes. Sometimes it's digital wind instruments, which I actually discovered right before we started recording the album. Some of the songs, what you're hearing me go through patches on the instrument, and you hear me figuring the instrument out. So it's new, which I thought was really
give me a sec. My fault.
cool. To me, that's like one of the coolest things about the recording. Like, I'm actually listening to myself be a baby at something, you know, be a baby at this new machine that I've never touched.
A document of this exists.
Yes.
It has a name.
Yes, New Blue Sun. New Blue Sun
Sun.
is the album.
Many people will ask why a woodwind album.
I ask myself, why anything? Like, why did we record these albums before in my career? Like, it's just kind of those are the things that came, you know. I would say it's probably just felt more real and authentic to me. Like, cause I don't stop trying things. Like, I always try, you know, recordings, and I try vocal things. I even try to jot down ideas and lyrics here and there, but none of that excited me. You know, it always,
Which is
it kinda
dope.
felt like
If
I'm trying to do a thing. You know what I mean? And I don't.
you don't want to force it. I like the fact that he knew how he felt at that time. He tried. He wanted to see if he could make you know, a rap album, hip hop album. But it's like he said, he wasn't excited for it. So now, why are you gonna force yourself to do something, in, you know, again, without being 100% into it? You know. So I like the fact that he went with his gut, creatively and musically. He decided that this is what he wanted to do.
Like when I'm trying to do a thing, it just felt inauthentic, and this felt like the realest I could be at the time.
People
That's
who like
dope.
pay close attention know that you're creating all the time. This is the first thing though that actually is making it out in the world.
I've actually played some When things that I've put out in the world that I call myself another name under different artists that are out there that, you know, I was just kind of testing it out in a way.
Wait, so you have anonymous Wind recordings out there already?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
from
fire.
known artists.
Really?
And they've been cool about keeping it secret. Yeah, I wasn't sure how to present the When thing because I would just be on the street and play, because I play like in nature a lot. I just play hiking,
That's dope.
walking, in the city, wherever. And what started to happen was people started kind of like filming me on their cell phones and posting it and making beats out of it, which is cool to me. But
That's dope.
yeah, I was trying to find a way, how can I share my love for discovering this wind instrument with more people? Like,
Yeah.
where it's just not this kind of, where's Waldo, there's this dude playing kind of thing. So in approaching, I knew I wanted to do a wind-based album, but I didn't really know what I wanted to sound like. I had influences, I had ideas, and I
What
kept
were the
just trying.
influences?
Influences ranging from Coltrane to Philip Glass to Steve Reich.
It's a very intimate record. I've heard it. It's like
I agree.
getting a very like luxurious and expensive, but very like tender mental massage.
Nice, I'll take it. I describe it as just like pure like breathing, you know, and living. And the
Yeah.
way it was recorded, it was all improv and spontaneous. So we were living it. What you hear on the record is how we heard
That's
it as we were doing
wild.
it. It wasn't planned. It wasn't like, hey, we're gonna.
I think that is what adds more to that album, to be honest. Like they were saying, well, like Andre 3000 was saying, you can just tell by the way that the instruments are played and just the authenticity behind the melodies. And like he said, it feels like a pure album, just like living and breathing. And it's dope that this wasn't pre-recorded, like they weren't working on it and then working on getting it correctly. Like it was just pure feeling the vibe and just letting people play on just how they feel at that time. So I fuck with
gonna
that.
do
That's
this, we're gonna
fire.
do these chords, and we're gonna.
That's dope.
We only talked about feeling, you know.
Are you apprehensive?
Very, very, very apprehensive.
Do you feel like that played into decisions you made about Outkast too?
I think just in general, when it came to figuring out what we would do creatively and where my creative juice is coming from within Outkast, like there was a certain point where I just didn't know where else to go. You know, I didn't, like even now, like people think, oh man, he's just sitting on raps, or like he's just holding these raps hostage. Like I ain't got no raps like that. Like it actually feels, sometimes it feels inauthentic for me to rap because I don't have anything to talk about in that way. Like I'm 48 years old, and
Okay.
not to say that age is a thing that dictates what you rap about, but in a way it does. And like
Yeah.
things that happen in my life, like what are you talking? Like I gotta go get a colonoscopy. Like what are you? What do
Yo,
you rap
he's
about? You
wildin'.
know what I mean? Like my eyesight is going bad. Like
But you're not just any rapper. Like you're a top 5, you know, to many people.
That's a fact.
To me, it's like you're basically being like, I have a very beautiful sports car in the garage, but I choose never to drive it. You know, which is your talent.
Yeah.
talent is
It's
one
very
thing, but
humble.
honestly, I think timing and momentum is more important than talent and the energy of it. Like talent, it's a lot of people with talent, and we're seeing that now. Like there's so many dope people on the internet like that are just raw, but it's your timing, is what you're talking about. Is
Yeah.
if you're catching the zeitgeist of what's happening in the world, and like my goal is I want to connect. I'm not talking about nothing that I can't connect with, and
Yeah.
it's no use. Yeah, I try all the time. Like I'm open to producers now, like the young producers, and I get beats all the time. Like, and people send me songs like to get on remixes and stuff like that, but I don't be knowing what to talk about most of the time, you know?
Do you think that's about expectations or
That's
lack
a
of
good
self-belief?
question.
Like, where do you think that comes from?
Like I think you're your best and worst critic, and I only work on feeling. Feeling is my only barometer of what I'm doing. Like, I don't feel like I'm the best rapper. I don't feel like I'm the best producer. I don't feel like I'm the best singer.
Which
Actually,
is
none of that. It's just for me.
insane. Because just like the GQ rep was saying, like this, he's considered in people's top 5, legit, of all time. I mean, even the duo, him and Big Boy, like Outkast, come on, bro. Like, so for him, I mean, that's what I love about him personally, just the fact that he's so humble and he's so kickback about it. But it's like, yo, my man, I'm sure he knows it, but there's people out here that are like die hard, for real. Andre, Outkast, like fans type shit, supporters, all that. So it's crazy that he don't really even think that way, which is dope
that
though.
way, even within Outkast, like if it felt right, I ain't care what other people thought. If it felt right, it was like, I ain't gonna argue with what it feel like. And if it don't feel right to me, which it hasn't in a while, like when it comes to rapping or vocal, type of music, I don't do it. The song is more important. The music is more important.
I was looking at the song titles. I wanted to ask you about a few.
Yeah,
of them.
for sure.
The first song is called "I Swear I Really Wanted to Make a Rap Album."
Yo.
Rap in quotation marks. This is literally the way the wind blew me this time.
In my mind, I would love to make a
Bro,
rap
that's
album.
a whole
I would
sentence,
love to make a
bro.
rap album.
That's
but
not even
this is what came
song
at this
title.
time, and it felt authentic.
One of the things that's so great about you as a rapper is the directness and the way that you would talk about your life. So when you said yesterday, I don't know what to talk about now, I was like, how's that possible?
I was once in the studio with an artist, a younger artist, Tyler Creator, and we were talking about rapping as you're old. And I was kind of telling Tyler, I was like, man, I just don't know what, like, I'd rather write a book or something at this point. Like, I don't know, like, you got to do it. And I was like, why? He was like, because it shows us what we can do when we get to that age. But to make it
That's dope.
into a entertaining song to where it's just not self-serving, or it's not just like, there's a part of entertaining someone else too. I know I joke about having to go get a colonoscopy and all this kind of stuff, and that's a real thing in my life, but to make that into a song, or
Why not?
like, yeah, of course, but I got to make it into a song that feels good as a song.
But your
You know what I
track
mean?
record as making people feel good through song is
Track record is one thing, the right now is a whole nother. I can't put anything else
That's
out in
facts.
the world if I'm not excited about it, because how can I expect you to be excited about it?
Right.
How can I expect you to think, oh, this is
I mean,
this
he
is
had just said it earlier. He wants to base it through feeling, and if the feeling is not behind it when he writes it or makes that type of music, it's not gonna hit the same. For me, people are gonna be. Then now it's gonna fuck up his. Just, I don't want to say legacy, but then people are gonna be like, does he still have it? And
I don't feel that way.
it was like,
what's that saying with
I don't
that drug addicts say? They say, well, the longer I'm out of it, the better chances I have of staying out of it. So
that's not what America wants to hear.
I know, I understand, but it feels that way. Like, as I keep going, like, it's like you keep slowing down too. Like, people don't understand that there's a physicalness to rapping. I always say it's like being a boxer. Like, you got to think it's
But don't
actually
you think
like
the
being a
genre is
boxer.
big enough to encompass all of that?
Look at the greatest boxers now. What do? They do exhibition fights every now and then, but they're not stepping in the ring. You know
But
what I mean?
what if rapping wasn't boxing? What if it was?
But it is
entirely?
though. That's what I'm saying. It is partly physical, partly mental. When boxers, when they're about to fight, they have to train. So if I were to make a rap album, the best thing I could probably do is just be around rappers. You know what I mean?
But that's
like,
not part of your life right now, really.
yeah, it's not even like, I don't even like going to the studio and just hanging out with niggas smoking all day. I just don't.
It's gotta be weird to have all that energy directed toward you. People coming up to you on the street or whatever and being like, do this, and you're like, I'm not gonna do it.
I wish I could answer them.
That's
man.
a lot of cosmic pressure. It's like being brought to bear on you.
It is, and that's to that point. That title, the first song.
Yeah.
I'm kind of addressing it in a way.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Like, for me, like, washing is kind of like cooking. Like, I like seasoned food. Like, I hate bland food.
Okay.
So I season my clothes a lot.
We're in our uniform era, is that right?
Yeah, I guess you definitely can call it a uniform. It's easy for me. Like, it's kind of like, even when I look around now and I look at kind of what's happening in the world, like, everybody turned up in the late 90s and 2000s. Our contemporaries were looking at us crazy. Like, who are y'all?
Yeah.
Like, y'all are from another planet. now the planet is here, you know, like all the
That's
kids
true. It came.
are turned
It came.
up,
It
you know what I
arrived.
mean? Like, which is beautiful. I just love this workwear kind of stripes and these overalls. They're very comfortable. I call them like adult baby clothes. You just feel like really comfortable and snug.
Adult
and,
or
like,
it
you
said
have places to
adult
put
baby
your
clothes.
hands.
I don't know which one.
This is yours. These overalls.
Yeah.
What is the brand called?
From now on, they will have no choice but to call us the Ants. This is a workwear brand for sure. And like when you look at Ants, it's like.
Is that the
they're
name of
always,
the
like,
brand? What the fuck?
I'm at the stage where I'm loving to do things with my hands.
Yeah.
You know, and things that I can do when I'm 75 years old or when I'm 80 years old.
And the outfit reflects that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think about clothing. Like, I'm at work. Like, I'm actually drawing or painting in these. I still love it that, like, the young kids, they'll come up like, oh, man, your fit is fresh. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you, man.
Do you feel like the uniform is a reminder to yourself about the
He
differences
do be.
between now
His
and
fits
say,
do be
like, the
fire.
year
I'm not gonna lie.
2000?
It's actually the opposite. It's not a reminder at all. It's a forgetting. I don't have time to think about clothing. Some people, like, go into fashion, like, I want to be free and, like, do all these things. There's certain freedom in that, too. But there's also a freedom in not having to think about it at all.
What do you do while you wait?
Just throwing on a
usually
fit
when
and
you're
just dipping.
I usually go in the alley and I play.
here? I don't mean to be forward or ask for the art for free, but could we do that?
I'm at a point now, like, if somebody in the street were to ask me, like, man, could you rap? Like, could you say something? It'd feel weird. I have to, like, get my mind, like, you have to get in rap mind or rap mode. But when people ask me, hey, can you play? I'm like, yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's play.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
That's because he has more excitement towards
Yeah.
that, which is amazing. Not making me feel like I'm about to have an out-of-body experience. I wonder how long. I haven't done like obviously much of my research on my side, but I wonder how long he's been
amazing,
playing that
man.
instrument.
Oh, thank you. I'm just kind of feeling what's happening at the time, so I'm just kind of making it up as it goes. Like even the new album was completely improv and made up, just a discovery path every time. So
Those
you never know what
overalls are
patterns
dope, though.
You will play. You never know what
And the shirt, too.
melodies you're gonna play. You're on the tightrope at that point, so it's like you got to do something. It's very interesting that I've never been a rap freestyler. I just think too much to freestyle. You know,
But this is somehow accessing like a different part of the brain.
yeah, I'm not thinking at all. Listening more than anything, like listening and responding. So when I started playing, it was kind of a thing like, if you didn't know of my history, if you didn't know of album sales, if you didn't know of records, you know, accolades or anything, like I was getting real responses from people that didn't, like actually people would come up and give me money. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you aware that clips of you?
My man
playing
said,
your folk dance
"Showtime."
pieces go
I
viral?
became aware of it, and it kind of made me more self-conscious because it
Did it?
became kind of like a game. I remember I was in Philadelphia and someone came up and they was like, you know, it's like a game now. Like an actual person, they were like, you know, we try to spot you. And he told me, I was like, it's kind of weird now, you know, because at first it was kind of like I would just walk for miles and miles and play and just kind of duck off in places. But now it's like, it's become a thing. Being famous is just, people don't want to say it. Like, it is a great blessing. Like I'm actually blessed to be able to create in front of people and get
That's
ideas
dope.
off. That's the biggest blessing out of being famous. But being famous really sucks, man. Like, it's so unhuman. Like, I can't remember his name, but there was this classical pianist that said it's actually unnatural and actually detrimental to a human to have that much admiration, because it actually changes the way you think.
Mm-hmm.
It changes the way you move, you know, like.
There's 100 people on the planet Earth who were like as famous as you at one point. You know, like the experience that you've had and know, very few people know. You're like an astronaut in that sense, you know?
I'm coming to grips with it, I think, because I'm older now. Like, I really see it as I'm just being used for something. You know what I mean? And I'm happy that I'm being used in a greater scheme. Like, I kind of have looked at my whole career and looked at where I am now, and I kind of feel like I'm a catalyst kind of artist where I'll do a thing that I naturally do, and then, you know, people see it, and then the reaction of that spawns other things to happen. You know what I mean? So I'm always watching. Well, how am I being used? Like, you know,
Yeah.
what's happening? Like, what's going on right now? You know, and you can't be mad at that.
My man really just
And
doing
then
laundry, just having a whole interview.
The last song. Dreams once buried beneath the dungeon floor slowly sprout into undying gardens.
Yeah.
Damn, son.
Yeah, that song, which is the last song on the album, just for information, that is actually the first song that we recorded as a group. We're creeping along and filling it out, and it just felt like this enchanted kind of garden at first. And so the title is kind of referencing that enchanted garden thing, but it's also like I wanted to kind of like go back to the very beginning. So I wanted to like pinpoint the dungeon where I'm from, you know, with myself, Outkast, Goody Mob, Organized Noise, and we started in Rico Wade's basement, and it was dirt. Like it wasn't a floor. It was actually a crawl space where the musical equipment was, and I just felt like there was a continuation. Like I always wanted to it's not a separate thing. It's a continuation from where we started, you know, so everything kind of goes back to the dungeon. When you look back at it, yeah, we were kids and, you know, we were different in high school, but even, you know, choosing the name Outkast, it was like, okay, you just don't fit in really. And I've really felt that way, even outside of music, just kind of in my life. Like I don't really feel like I belong to any sect. I don't feel like I belong to the young rap crew. I don't feel like I belong to the aged adults. I've just never, I just don't feel like you fit in anywhere. So you just kind of got to
make your own lane.
It is what it is, you know?
Facts.
I watched the clip.
Do your own shit. Fuck them.
Booed at the Source Awards this morning.
Respectfully.
You look so young.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were youngins, man.
Are those fond memories when you look back on them at that time?
Oh, yeah, man. Those times were the best times ever, man. Like, and you wish you can get them back. Like, you wish you can all go back and sleep on the dungeon, on the floor in the dungeon. You know, time moves on and things grow, things change, families come, new generations come, generations after you come, even musically, you know, even looking at the landscape of music now, like I'm so happy and blessed that I'm still alive to be able to see like a lineage, you know, to see it, like to
Do
be
you
able
see
to
it?
clear, yeah, I see it. And I hear it because a lot of these guys actually like reach out and like we talk. And I think lineage is important in any art form, in anything, because I think you do a disservice if you don't tell people where things came from. When I'm making music, I always feel like, oh, I wonder what George and them would think. Or I wonder if Jimmy was here, what would he think? You know, or I wonder what would Prince think. You're only as good as the people before you.
Yeah.
It's just true, because those are your building blocks. And I don't care who you are, and it will always be
That's
that
true.
way. And it will just keep going.
Setting foundations,
It's
creating new ways.
It's gratifying to know that your life has had meaning for someone or a group of people.
And for such a long time. I mean, like
And
I was saying.
I feel like, I mean, he speaks at it at the capacity of where he is, obviously, because he's Andre 3000, but I feel like that applies to anybody, you know? And anybody could have that perspective in terms of having that meaning in life, you know? You don't know how you could influence or impact another person, whether it's one person, two people. You never know, honestly. And that, knowing that is really dope, to know that you could just have a conversation with somebody and it turns out that you've influenced to have, you know, now they want to do something differently. They're motivated, or they want to take advantage of their creative side, or just want to go to the gym or anything like that. You never know the impact you could have.
See
honestly.
how young you are in that clip. It's like, God,
it's dope what he's saying.
Successful so young, you know.
Finish my
Do you
walk.
think about that? Like, what kind of effect did that have on you?
It was a blessing to be successful that young. Like, I think our career is kind of interesting because since our very first album, we've gone platinum and just kept rising. Like, so next album was double, next three.
First album.
It just kept rising.
I think you're 13x today.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I recently heard that, which is so crazy to me.
Box
Like,
Love Blow.
That's
so crazy.
insanity.
It's something in it, because I'm always kind of
13-time platinum.
I don't know.
Shit.
I'm just a negator. we haven't taken a fall. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes you build character or you build something by failure. Idlewild may have been our slip. You know, you never know. The only thing you can do is be honest about what you're doing at the time, because what you don't want to happen, you don't want to fall or fail when you were trying to mimic something or trying to appease someone else.
Is that what keeps you away from Outkast now?
And I think there's a certain chemistry that me and Big Boy have. I think people don't understand that chemistry changes. Outkast was a true chemistry. The elements we had were not supposed to go together a lot of times, you know, but it's something that, and I think they call it rocket fuel. Like when you have these kind of forces that may be opposing, but they're going for the same goal, but they kind of get this kind of reaction to each other, and it makes magic. But as like people, like me and Big Boy, like we still tough, you know, like it hadn't changed, and it'll always be that way because we were friends first. Like we weren't put into a group together,
right?
So we'll always have that.
But plenty
it was
of people
authentic,
would get, especially since I think, at least for years, the understanding was that he would have kept going if you would have.
Oh no, Big Boy, he is on it. Like,
he's back tomorrow.
Yeah,
Facts.
He is the biggest cheerleader, like for Outkast. Big Boy's, oh man, we the fucking greatest. You know, he's Muhammad Ali kind of like.
The love between you guys is very real, because I think
Yeah.
that energy, those different goals would have split other people up, not just as a group, but as like two human beings.
I do know that I'm not the controller. Big Boy is not the controller of any of this. We couldn't have planned where we are, you know, so we can't plan an ending.
You guys did reunite one time to play shows, 2014.
So after a nearly decade-long hiatus, Outkast began its 2014 reunion tour with a pair of performances at Coachella. Word.
Yes.
Damn, 2014? Sheesh.
I ain't been on stage in damn near 15, 20 years, so it's like, it was odd for me,
On stage
and actually
for
right before the
15
show,
plus
you
years?
see Paul McCartney walk and go to the left side of the stage, and then Prince walks to the right side of the stage. I'm like, what the fuck, man? And you know, there's new technologies like earbuds and shit. Like I never used earbuds in my life. Like we were always just in front of the monitors or listening to the speakers. So if you were watching the Coachella show, like I got people in my ear talking and shit, and it's like, what the hell is going on? So halfway through the show, I was already checked out.
Yeah.
Like I was already in my bed at home, so I was just trying to get through it. And so, yeah, the show happens, and it was a bomb night. It was horrible, in my eyes. It was horrible.
Oh, I thought he meant like bomb, like it was fire.
Prince, which I don't know him like that. I don't know how he got my number. I do not know. And first thing he says is, you know what your problem is? You don't realize how big y'all are.
Sheesh.
And then he was like, you got to remind people who you are. And from that point on, like, it's like, okay.
Is it like where knowing that if you wanted to next week, you could be on stage in front of 60,000 people?
It's only weird in like the scale of thinking about that. You know, even when we did the Outkast 20, we opened up for Rolling Stones on one of the dates, and I'd never seen that many people in my life.
Was there like a mental adjustment to be like, oh, I'm by myself again?
I mean, there's been so many times in my mind where I thought I was done.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even like a struggle. It wasn't like, what am I gonna do now? Like, yeah, there are times, even still now, like doing all of this. Like I remember a couple of weeks ago talking to my manager and publicist, I was like, I really had to ask myself, do I wanna be just out there again? Like to do the run, to do the PR, to like, and I really had to ask myself, and I honestly don't. I don't wanna, like I really enjoy my life. I like
That's beautiful.
being able to do what I want as a civilian, you know, when I just walking in the world. But at the same time, I want to promote the music, so I'm only doing it to promote the music. Like I'm not. This ain't no flex.
And
you
forgive me
could
if
see
this
that
is,
too.
Not something that's fun or comfortable to talk about because we don't have to. But it's like you've talked in the past about actually having some amount of real social anxiety.
Yeah,
I can't imagine, to be honest.
And it never goes away. It's like it's not like a cure-all kind of thing. It just becomes a part of life, and you just have to kind of like take a deep breath, smile a little bit,
Facts.
and just get through it for tomorrow. That's the best I can say, you know.
Do you think that's something that developed in reaction of fame or something you always
For
had?
for sure. I think that may have been a trigger, like a traumatic kind of thing, because it's really unnatural to have that much attention as a human, you know, or
Right.
have that much expectation as a human. I had to adjust people filming you all the time, or just like coming up to you and that was so weird to me, like very, very weird to me, and I didn't like it. It made me not want to play at all. It made me not want to come out at all.
Damn,
One
that
thing
sucks.
a therapist told me, he was like, well, son, the thing that makes your art what it is the thing that you don't like either. So it's like, fuck, what am I gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
It's not like I can change it.
Yeah,
Just kind of rock with it.
Do you feel like something like the new record is like an attempt to just change the terms of the conversation in a way?
I will say it's the most honest thing that I could do at the moment, and I feel really good about it. And one thing that I noticed listening back at the album is it's kind of a reset or a reintroduction of a new volume. I'm not trying to compete with people on the radio. Like most records that come out,
I mean,
you master them.
My man dropped a musical album, and he is competing with
I was
people.
having a conversation with the engineer,
So-
and a lot of his engineer buddies, they were saying, we've realized as engineers that as humans, we've gotten as loud as we can get in human history. When you think about that, we can't get any louder. As an engineer, people send you files. A lot of times they look like these thick bars, solid bars, when music used to look like that.
Sure, dynamic.
And so on the record, there's certain kind of suggested listening, tactics, like we would say, listen at a low to mid volume, because these are not bangers.
When you listen to music now, do you hear your influence?
Yeah.
Where do you hear it most?
Certain artists, I see it visually. I see it more in spirit, and people pushing things and trying things, and I love the spirit. Like, I think I'm happy that people caught on the spirit part. Like, you see Tyler in them, you see like Tizo Touchdown and those guys, like you're like, what the coolest thing is, it's not like a sonning, it's not like a copy, it's a lineage.
Yeah.
It's a lineage. Like, these people got their own thing. Like,
Do you allow yourself to picture how people might react to this record when it's out in the world?
yeah, I do.
What do you picture?
I have a lot of different outcomes, and it depends on different people. Like, you may get someone that cries. You may get someone
sure.
that immediately starts to do yoga. Then
For
you got
sure.
the homie that be like, y'all gonna put some beats on that shit? Like, my friends don't always like my music, which is hilarious to me. Like, one of my homies told
Makes
me,
them
like, after
real.
I finished Hey Ya and I played it for him.
Or it depends. Makes them real, or they just a hater.
He said, man, if you put that out, man, your career is over.
That's wild.
And in my mind, I'm like, damn, but I like this shit though. Like,
Do you have any other plans around it in terms of, will you tour? Will you?
oh yeah. Oh man, I'm glad you asked that. So the cool thing about how we recorded it, making up the sound, like everything that y'all are hearing, we made it up at that point. And so the live performances will be that again. So we get to
That's
go out
fire.
and do it live. And like, I actually had to go back and listen and relearn some of the melodies that I played, but it'll always be a completely new performance every time.
That's
Have you
sick.
thought much about just being on stage again?
Yes, I have, and it's terrifying. It is terrifying. It's a very new experience for me, like, which is totally different from getting on stage and rapping some songs. There's more involved in what I have to do.
Hopefully, if he
than
does,
rapping songs.
the setting is
That's
a
kinda
bit
like my
intimate
memory and
when he does the live
energy.
performances.
You're able to hide some of the nervousness.
'Cause that'd be
and the
fire.
energy. Here, it's all in your face. You're on a tightrope the whole time. Like, I can't hide behind a beat that you already know, or hide behind lyrics that you already are into. It is what it is. It's fun to do it. Like, when I'm actually playing, it's fun. It's fun.
All right. That's so dope, man. That's fire. I fuck with that. That's cool. I just like that. I don't know. You could just tell he's just free. He's learning, and it's like he said. It's cool to see himself at the baby stage, of those things. That's dope.